What's going on, everybody?
Yo.
What's going on, Alec? How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing good. I just tried to do one of those AI make a professional business photo things and I look creepy.
Nice. Which tool is that?
Photor.
Oh, okay. I've been using Scribe a lot. I'm loving it. It's SOP creation. It's been
Oh,
super
cool.
super helpful. Yeah, that one's awesome. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to go over like the kind of the schedule of what this call is going to be first. So basically we're going to be talking about anything LeadSnap related. If any of you guys have anything that any like parts of the system that you kind of are aware of but haven't taken full advantage or not sure how to use it, or maybe you just have certain problems that you think LeadSnap can solve but you're not really sure, I would encourage you guys to go ahead and put those in the chat. I want to cover specific parts of it. I want to make sure that you guys get value out of this call. So I can go through the whole system and talk about the whole thing from A to Z, but I just think that it's going to be a lot better if we can focus it towards certain parts that you guys actually need some help with. So that's kind of the goal for the call. So we're gonna do the wins, and then in the meantime, while we're doing that, if you guys could just throw those any questions into the chat, or certain parts of the system, that would be great. So yeah, let's get into the wins. Anybody have any wins? Feel free to speak up, guys.
I can share some wins.
All right, what you
Well,
got,
Craig's
Alec?
going though too. I went hard on. I messaged Samantha about the ClickUp like processes and stuff, but I sat down and was able to crank out like a ton of get even clearer on the SOPs. I have a couple of things to ask her, but I got a meeting with her tomorrow
Awesome.
about that. So that's definitely a win.
She's over here on the side. She heard that. She was doing a little dance.
Cool.
Awesome. Craig, what you got?
It's not a huge win, but taking from the mansion mine mastermind, got my my meeting and everything completed with the Routezilla folks and Robert and all of his team, and we're rolling with that.
Awesome. Yeah, that's super cool. Greg?
Yeah, I got mine.
Oh, what you got?
Well, yeah, kind of like Craig there, lining everything up since the since the event. I've really been super stoked about it. Everybody was so encouraging and giving a lot of help. So I came back and got some doctor's appointments set up, but also I've already had all my meetings or had some meetings with Routezilla there. I've got some of the information. I've already reached out to some people, and they're excited about it. I just got to put the rest of the pieces together, and today Robert's going to be sending some more stuff. So I've already got a whole list of people I'll be putting into my funnel. I've already built out part of my landing page for that, and another couple of other pieces of content to really blast this thing out. So we're in blue button mode right now, and it's super stoked about it.
Awesome. Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, that's great. Glad to hear that.
So we've had a few more people hop in here. So real quick, Alfredo, George, and Johnny. What we're going to do is we're going to be covering certain parts of LeadSnap. If you guys have any like certain parts that you've ever had trouble using, or you don't fully understand on how to get it to work, that's going to be useful for your business, go ahead and type what that is in the chat, whether it's the reporting, whether it's something to do with the GMBs, or maybe it's the rank tracking. The rank tracking I'm going to be covering anyways, because I have a feeling that not very many people are taking full advantage of that part of the system. But yeah, anything that you guys have struggled with or want to learn how to get more proficient at, go ahead and throw that into the chat while we're doing the wins, and we're going to cover that. So we're still doing the wins. I have a win that I wanted to share. For me personally, or actually Samantha and we actually ended up landing a client pretty recently that's going to be a really big client for us. If we could knock it out of the park for this guy, he has a network of 75 people that are in the same niche that he's willing to push us out to. So that's really exciting for us. That's going to be some really warm leads. Yeah, super excited. All we got to do is just make sure we do a good job for this first client. That's going to be cool. Well, anybody else Alfredo, you got anything?
Yeah, just blessed, just growing still with Google My Business. And as far as the Jordan, if you want to show us, I maxed out my GMB profiles. So if you can show us that, I had to take a few off. I didn't even know there's a max. I have quite a bit in there for posting, right? And
Okay.
and yeah, just excited, blessed, and doing our thing.
Okay, cool. Thank you everyone for sharing. If anyone else, Doug, I see you're unmuted. You got something to share?
Yeah, so I had a meeting yesterday with a guy that has a CRM, and he has 420 customers, and we are rolling out lead chat to all 420. And he has been struggling with getting leads. So I'm working on a 20% equity deal with him.
Wow.
And we're going to try and get him from 1.5 to 3 million in sales over the next year.
Ooh.
And if I'm able to do that, I will be a happy 25% owner in his business.
That's awesome. Yeah, huge win. Congratulations, Doug. Thank you for sharing that as well. All right. Cool. George? Yeah, what's up?
I got I mean, this is a win. I don't think there's going to be a whole hell of a lot of money in it, but I was looking for leads on Bark the other day, and there's a 14-year-old who runs a pressure washing business who wants help promoting his business. Nobody responded to him. I reached out to him and I said, you know, buddy, I admire your spunk. I don't know where this is going to go, but I'll tell you what, you cut me in for 20% equity in your pressure washing business. I'll build your website, help you get ranked, teach you how to, get calls for people. So I don't know. I mean, it feels like a win for me that I'm going to have the opportunity to maybe help a young entrepreneur, maybe make his first, I don't know, $1,500. I don't know. I mean, he's a great kid. He's got a great personality. I mean, he's one of those young men that when you talk to him that, he has it. And so, I'm just going to throw a little bit of good out into the universe and see what comes back from it. So that's kind of my win for the week.
That's awesome, man. That's a great win. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a win-win situation.
It is.
It's cool to see, people that young to like starting their own business. So if you're able to help them out and become successful in that business, and then also be able to take a cut of that too, that's a total win-win. That's super cool.
Yeah. I got
you do stuff like that, it always comes back.
Yeah, I got a call with his parents coming up later because I'm like, you're only 14, so I don't know if I can enter into a legally binding agreement.
Right?
With you.
Yeah.
So if we can get a big person on the call, I'll be more than happy to work with you.
Yeah. That's awesome. Super cool. All right, cool. Yeah, thank you guys for sharing all of that. Super cool. Also, thank you for putting in these suggestions in the chat for what to go over. One thing that stood out to me first is Johnny. So I'm looking at your leads. I'm not 100% sure what I'm looking at here because it's on the phone, but I see you've got 137 forms. Says 0 leads forwarded. So I think that the only reason why it says that is because it could be because you're not using the old system of lead forwarding where that was what the automations replaced. It used to auto forward the leads to the client and then would mark them as forwarded. So if you're using the automations to send to your client, I don't think it's automatically marking them as forwarded. But for that, I'm going to have to look into that a little bit more if you're okay with kind of getting on a call after so I can go through your account and see how it's set up. I think I would just need a little bit more background on that. Does that sound good, Johnny?
Yeah, sounds good, man. Yeah, I have all these forms being forwarded over to all my clients, like you said. So I just always wondered why it says 0 there. So, I mean, it's not a big issue, but just kind of a little curious on it.
Isn't that because they're not actually qualifying them, Joren? Because that's what I deal with our admin a lot is like, if they don't qualify them, they don't automatically get marked as a lead, right?
Yeah, well, you're
Your name
referring to
or lead.
the phone calls, right, Jeff? So the phone calls need to be qualified in order to be added as a lead, but the forms are automatically counted as leads since they go through the
Oh,
spam filters.
I did not know that. I thought they both had to be qualified like that.
No, not the form submissions. So the difference on this screenshot I'm seeing here is like it says that there are form submissions, but they're in the needs attention status and not the forwarded status. And that's just because like I said, the automations that are forwarding them are not automatically marking them as forwarded, but they're still getting to your client. So we can come up with how we can solve that together.
Jordan, so is there a way that what Jeff just said, that you have to qualify the call leads in order for them to, get counted? Is that something that we do manually, or is there steps that we can put? If it's longer than a minute 30, then it will count as a real lead.
Yeah, excellent question. I actually have that on my list to cover. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and I'll show you exactly how you can do that. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so if I go to the leads and then all calls, there is a way for you to do it manually. In fact, in our agency, we do this manually because we have people that go through and listen to the calls, but there also are options for you to do this in an automated way, like you were asking. So over here on the right side, you'll see the plus button. This is how you add this call as a lead. It's not going to show up in the all leads area unless it's added as a lead. But it's super easy to do this, and you can do this system-wide within a minute. So if we go to automations, go to new automation, we'll just start from a blank one here. The trigger is going to be a new
Can you go a little bit slower, Jordan?
Yeah. So we're creating an automation here. The automation is what's going to control, or basically like whenever a new phone call comes in is going to be what adds it as a lead. So we're in the new automation here. The trigger is going to be a new phone call. So this is basically going to be telling the system anytime any phone call comes in, then we're going to do what's next. We don't need to add a filter. You can. This is kind of optional. The filter is going to be like if you want this automation to only add calls as leads for certain companies, then you can add one. But if you want this to be system-wide and apply to every call that comes into the system, no matter what company is for, then we're just going to go ahead and leave this blank. And then the next step that we need to add for the action is qualify as lead. So now what we have set up here, a call comes in, we're going to qualify it as lead. So what you were saying is if you want it to qualify based on the time, the duration of the call. So if a call comes in that's greater than, I think what did you say, like 90 seconds or 120 seconds, we can add that into a filter as well. We'll add a new filter or call duration right here. And the call duration is going to be greater than or equal to, and then you can put the time. So this is going to be in seconds here. If we put 90, now we have if a call comes in that's greater than 90 seconds, it's going to add it as a lead. And then we can change this to be whatever time that we want. Does that answer your question, Johnny?
That's huge, man. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions related to this?
I'm all good on my end.
Okay. Cool.
Hey, Jordan, as far as the call in the actual, when it says, let me see, like failed, right?
Yep.
How do you, is it something on our end, or is it we're just getting a lot of spam calls?
Yeah, most likely. Are you referring to the abandoned status? Go ahead and go to the all calls so we can take a look at some real examples
mine
here.
says menu failed.
Oh, okay. Menu failed. Yeah. So menu failed means that pretty much all of those are going to be robotic calls. So the point of having the menu in your call flow is to stop those robotic calls. So you're adding a step that basically when a lead calls, they have to press 1 in order to connect to your client. And the robotic callers are not able to do that. So they're just stuck at the menu. They don't press 1 and the call hangs up. So then it's going to show in your call history as menu failed because they didn't press 1 to connect to your client. That's what that's saying.
Now I'm getting one of my leads, Jen. I get the message, press 1 to continue. But when I go into my call flow, I want to say it was that it should say it on their end, no, not on my end.
So you want the
Like what you said right now, I want them to push one so we can verify it's a live person, right?
right.
But I'm getting one that whatever that message is, I forget what it is now,
Mhm.
that says, press one to be connected. I'm getting it on my end. So my
Okay.
phone rings, I say hello, and then it says press one to continue.
Yeah, I know exactly what that is. So there's two different settings and we'll go over both of them. So I'm going to build out a new call flow here and I'll show you exactly what is causing this issue. So in your call flow, you likely have a menu set up already, right? So the menu is going to be for the caller's end. This is the press one to connect to the client where the lead is going to hear it and
Mhm.
they're going to press one and go to your client. So that's what this is, the menu. Now,
Mhm.
the second part, what you're saying, where your client has to press one or yourself in order to receive the call, that is from this right here. So we're in the dial step. This is what determines the forwarding number.
Mhm.
And then we have this button right here, prevent voicemails and automated systems from answering the call. If this is selected, then you or your client will have to press one to answer the call. If
Mm.
this is not selected, then the call is just going to go through as soon as you or your client answers.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. So I always get confused with these two options. I've heard yes, and then I've heard no. What is the best practice for this part?
So it depends. I recommend always having a menu step for all of your call flows.
And then
That-
you don't need that other step, right?
So this one is on a case-by-case basis. This
Okay.
one is the point of this feature is if you want the calls to be routed to your LeadSnap voicemail and not your client's personal voicemail. So that's what this does. Basically, it's going to recognize when your client's voicemail picks up, basically. And instead of playing that for the lead, it's going to route them to the LeadSnap voicemail.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So if you don't care and you're okay with it going into your client's voicemail, in our agency, we don't really use it. Like we're okay with it going to our client's voicemail most of the time. There are certain cases where maybe they have a voicemail set up that's just like really generic and it has nothing to do with their company and it's just not very good sounding. Then we will turn this on and create a better sounding voicemail.
Mhm. But you're gonna get that press one to connect.
Correct.
Okay.
You are going to get that.
So
one
it's
to-
kind of like, which one do you want?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All good on
No.
that, Alfredo?
Yeah. It is. It just, depends who you talk to. And I see why they say that. You say push it or not. Now, being on this topic, somebody just rose the question is, how do the team or this for everybody or you, Jordan, like when it's a called lead gen site, there's a name on the website, but the business has a different name. How do you overcome like, hey, is this the same company? Is something fishy going on here?
Yeah, so we've never had too many problems. We have had it come up occasionally. Usually what it is just coaching your client into understanding, like if they say, hey, is this towing Dallas? Just say, yeah, that's us. Just let them know to not be like, no, this is actually Jerry's tow truck service. But because then that can cause some confusion. But if you just kind of coach them and give them an understanding that people might be calling and thinking that you're a different business name, just go with it. Just tell them that's what you are. You could even let them know like what are the names that they could potentially be expecting to hear.
Okay.
Yeah, I often answer my own calls for my own assets. I just say estimator, and then they're
Yeah,
like, is
just
this
something so
concrete?
generic.
I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
I keep it super generic, and that's how I coach my clients as well, so that there's no confusion.
Mhm.
And that kind of eliminates any of the awkwardness of being like, oh, well, it says ABC towing and you're
Right.
Joe's towing. Like you just answered the phone, Joe's towing. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah,
You're like,
just say
oh,
towing.
oh, that's my marketing. I always tell them to say, oh, that's my marketing guy. He has a bunch of different websites out there for me. Something like that.
Okay. All right,
They
cool.
usually, they just want to know that they're in good hands and they're not getting scammed. So
And that was
some,
the case in this scenario. It's just that credibility, like, hey, what's going on here?
yeah, it's exactly what it is. They want
I
to know.
think
that
that's
they're
what's happening
in the right
is
spot.
they're answering, Jeff instead of like, window cleaning, towing, or whatever the generic industry niche is.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Yeah, I saw Alec's question. So right here, we actually have a button or to show and hide menu failed calls. So if you have a ton that are, just filling up your list that say menu failed, just switch the button and you can go ahead and hide those calls. And then so that you don't really have to worry about seeing them anymore. And let me give me a second to read through some of these more of these questions. I'm gonna go back up to the top. Greg Adams asking for an update on the reputation management. Can you expand on that a little bit, Greg Adams?
Yeah, if you could just kind of just do another, like a little quick walkthrough exactly how that's working. On that, I'm trying to remember all how it works.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a couple options, but lately it kind of seems like the best thing to be doing is trying to get a list from your clients. And I'll go over what to do if you're not able to get that. But a lot of these clients have a list somewhere of their sales, like people that have come in and they've closed and they did the work for, and they have their name and an email and a phone number. If they don't, and you have a list of your own leads through the system, then you can still use those. But another thing is you can also use that as a prospecting method where you can, if let's say you first start talking to a new client and you say you want to give them free value, just say, hey, give me a list of some of the people that you've worked with in the past. And then on your end, just go through and send out some review requests. It's most likely going to turn into getting reviews, and you're going to get a decrease in ranking, or decrease in an increase in rankings in your GMB. I've been kind of trained to think about it as far as averages now, so I'm always watching my GMB averages, and I want to watch them decrease. But yeah, I'm going to go over exactly how to set that up. It's really simple. The first thing that we need to do is just set up our automation. And just set up a sequence that is going to have your follow-ups in there. I typically recommend only like 2 follow-ups for these people that you're sending these requests to. Some people do 3. I just usually seen that if they don't do anything after 2, they don't normally do it on the 3rd. But we have a template in here as well for review requests, which is what I'm going to start with. So let's go ahead and set up this automation. We're going to use the review request template. We're going to leave this trigger blank because we're not going to need that right now. And I'll show you why that we have that blank later on. This first one, we already have a script in here. It's, hey, client, this is client name with client company. If you enjoyed your experience with us, just let us know how we did. We have the link in here. This is going to be a text message first. And if they don't respond 3 days later, we're going to follow up with an email, and still also has that link in there. Now this is fully customizable. If you want to do 2 emails, I would copy this script, delete this, and replace it with an email step. If you want to do 2 text messages, same thing, just copy this, delete this, replace it with a text. But we kind of give you the option to do both, but you can also do one or the other. Are you following me, Greg?
Yeah, and we're still okay on text messages? Yeah,
so text messages, it's kind of like on a case-by-case basis on who's getting blocked right now due to that A2P. It's kind of going like carrier by carrier. So you're still going to be able to get some success from this. If you're, depending on like how many you're sending out, you're still going to be able to hit some of them. But then obviously we're working towards that A2P registration, which is going to give it the 100% deliverability rate.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, so once you have this automation in place, and this is really all you need right here, just 2 steps, keep it simple. Then we can go into the contacts. This is where you're going to upload that list that you get from your client, from your potential prospect, or if you don't have a list from your client, you're going to have data in here already because our system automatically saves every lead that comes through, phone calls, form submissions, as contacts. So now you can go back and reuse all of these people. You might have, depending on how long that this lead gen has been live, you could potentially have a year, 3 years of contacts that are just not being utilized in the system. And you can go back and reach out to those people. It's okay to reach out to people that did work for your client a long time ago. Some of them may not remember, but if it was a big service, it was something like they had like an entire new pool constructed at their house, they're going to remember. And you know, it's still okay to reach out to those people. So we're just going to select those people, and you can filter it down by company as well. And we're going to add them to that automation that we just created. Now, I also recommend don't add them all at once because it's not going to be good for your email if you send out hundreds and hundreds at a time. It's probably going to get suspended. So just go ahead and add like 10 per day. Just start with that and click add to automation, and that's going to put all those people in that sequence. Like I was saying before with the prospecting method, I think it's a really, really powerful idea to combine the reputation management with the rank tracking. So I'm going to kind of go over this a little bit. In the rank tracking, there's so much information in here that is going to blow away your client, existing client, or if it's a new prospect. There's the graph down here. Now this GMB is just like for testing purposes, like these keywords aren't even related to what the GMB is. So there's not really a lot of data in here, but for yours, actually I created a screenshot. I took this from my account.
Are you supposed to be sharing your screen? Because we're not seeing your screen if that's the case.
Really?
We can see it.
I can see it.
We can see it.
Oh, why can't I see? Okay, maybe it's my view. I apologize.
You scared me so much right now. I was like, it took this long for someone to thank you, Janeri.
I've seen it all the time, Joren.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on for you then, Janeri. Hopefully you're able to get that figured out, but I'm not sure if there's something that I can do on my end to fix that. Let me know. Are you good now, Janeri?
It's probably on one of my screens, my views, so don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. I'm listening.
Okay. You'll have the recording.
Yes, issue for sure.
Okay. So this is from my account. This is one that, you know, it looks a lot better. You can actually see the overtime ranking. We went from a 6 to it's about a 3.5 for one keyword and a 2.89. So we're still working on this. We've been working on it for 4 months now. So it's not, you know, it could be going faster, but you know, we're still going in the right direction. So imagine being able to combine a graph like this that's super easy to see. You can have very easily to see like number of keywords tracked. How are the rankings going up or are they going down? If we take a look at the keyword analytics, we have this historical data on where the GMB was at this date versus how it is now. And we can also analyze the trends of those as well. So imagine partnering this with the reputation management and approaching a new client and asking for just share a list of some of your past customers with me. We're not going to charge them anything at first, but just share a list of your customers. Go through, blast out an email of review requests to those past customers. You're going to get reviews. It's just a numbers game. You reach out to enough people, you're going to get reviews. And those reviews are going to directly influence these reports, and you're going to get your rankings are going to improve, and they're going to get more business. Like how often, if you're able to make that work, how often would these people want to then work with you? So I think it's just a really powerful strategy, whether you're using it for prospecting or you're using it for an existing client. I think that you need to be taking advantage of the reputation management and this rank tracking. I think it's just extremely powerful. There's a lot of valuable information. This report is completely shareable with your client just with this link. You don't have to ever you don't have to give them reports over and over. You just need to give them this link one time. And anytime you run a new heat map, they can go to that same existing link and see the latest data in here. They can watch in real time as what you are doing is directly influencing their assets. And I think that level of comfortability and knowledge for these clients is going to be a big game changer for client retention and landing new clients. So sorry, I totally got off on like a tangent there, but that was something I really wanted to cover, is like pairing these different parts of the system together to be able to unlock new strategies like this.
You manually have to put that link, like say if you do a blast or a 10, you drip it out. How do you connect the two on automation?
Okay, good question. So that link is actually configured in the funnel area. So if we go to reputation and then funnel, then we go up here to review sites. This is where that link is going to be set. So right here, I have my GMB link in already, and this is for the company bear removal. So if we wanted to do it for a different company, we can just change the company and then input that company's GMB link. Okay. So this is where you're going to put in those links. Now I'm going to show you how that connects to the automations. So let me go in and let's say we're doing a review request. By the way, if you use the review request template, it automatically already connects to what we just set up, what I just showed you, the funnel. But if we click this link options, you can see include link from the review funnel. And this is going to be the name of the link. So that's where that connection is coming into play. This is pulling it directly from that review funnel area that we set up earlier. Does that make sense, Alfredo?
Yeah.
Joren, real quick, before you move on,
Mhm.
is there a way to customize that link? You know how you go into the funnel, if you scroll down back to where it says CRM dot, when we're sending the request out, since we white label, it's saying our white label link. So it's CRM dot boost local strategist. So
Oh yeah.
can we fix that? If not, can that be fixed in the near future?
So that was actually like an intentional thing. It would be considered like if we still had it say LeadSnap, but you're using a white labeled version, that was like one of the white label leaks that we fixed. So I think maybe what you're proposing is like a customizable link for each funnel. Maybe you could have it say something that's related to the company itself. Is that what you're asking?
Yes. Or even so, like, because I found that we sent out reviews for a client and we ended up doing a second batch and we did it differently. Now it wasn't connected. So let's just say the first round was the regular one that you're showing here, and it has the CRM dot, our white label. And then it was like nobody left any reviews. So we tested it, removed it, and then just did a Google link instead, without connecting it to the reputation, and then we got reviews. So I feel like that link kind of makes people a little leery to click on it. But it'd be cool to customize it, saying the company's name or whatnot, so that way we get more reviews. And that did make a difference.
Totally. Yeah, I agree. I don't know the logistics of that on how exactly to make that change. I think it's a great idea, and I would have to approach the team and see how we could make something like that happen.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. Cool. Let me go ahead and read through here. This looks like, okay, that was the question that you just asked, Janeri. I think that reputation management and rank tracking. So Alec, do you mind, are you still on this call?
Yes, I am.
So for the rank tracking, I know I did just kind of cover it a little bit, but I didn't really cover how to set it up. Is that kind of like where you're struggling right now? Is like how to get it set up, or is it more of like how to utilize it?
I might table mine for next month because I'm not using the tool too much at the moment, to be honest. Like just because I guess I have some confusions about when I go in the heat map and I stick a bunch of keywords in. What is it? Like I only use I understand the heat map for one single keyword term, because then it makes sense to me. But when I put a bunch of keywords in there and then I try to pull it into the rank tracking, I just get a little bit lost and confused. And yeah, I guess I just throw my hands up a little bit.
Yeah, so you're just not sure how to understand the data for the multiple keywords inside of the rank tracking?
Yes.
So have you seen this right here, select keyword and switch between those different keywords?
Let me see if I even have that.
Okay. Yeah, so like each time you run a heat map for a different keyword, then the keyword is going to be added into this select keyword list here. So if I run a new heat map for a totally new keyword, it's going to add it to the bottom here. Now, then we can go ahead and switch through them. So if we want to look at bathroom remodeling, it's going to tailor this report towards that bathroom remodeling keyword. So now I can see the heat map history for that specific keyword, or I can change it for a different one.
Now, Jordan, have you seen a misread on those? I don't know if you saw my ticket. I selected my keyword and it said average 19, but the map was not an average 16. It was 1, 2s, and 3s.
Okay. No, I haven't seen that personally. Yeah, I can look into your ticket and see. Is that a current ticket that's out, or is that something that has been resolved since then?
What I do is I do Loom videos and send it in, and either somebody looks at it and answers it, or they create it for me. So I'm not sure what they did.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to get with my support team and see where we're at with that. But yeah, I mean, those kind of things happen. And yeah, we're obviously always going to be looking to fix that and make it as accurate as possible. We'll get that sorted for you quickly. But yeah, personally, I have not seen that yet. But yeah, I do absolutely believe you. We'll get that sorted. Alec, have you seen that?
Yeah, yes, I do. I'm in here. There's no way to rerun a heat map for like the latest one from this.
From this screen, no, it's still going to be in like the regular heat map area.
Okay.
And then another thing I wanted to point out is on the GBP summary tab at the very bottom, this graph is fully customizable with your different keywords. So once again, all of the keywords that you've ran for a heat map are going to show up in this list. And then you can just turn this on and off. So you can have all of your keywords showing on here overlaying, or you can turn it off, and just have like a couple and see and kind of analyze the trend over time pretty quickly for those specific keywords.
Is this link interactive with the client? Or do you get this part? Because I know when you share the link with that analysis, it asks 2 questions.
Yeah, so I'll show you. I'll just open up an incognito so that I'm not signed into anything, right? This is going to be exactly what your client experiences. You send them the link, they click it, and this is what they're going to see. They'll be able to come down here and still turn on and off these different keywords. Yeah. And then they can go to the keyword analysis. They'll also still have that select keyword area, change the keyword, and then they can go through and see the rankings for those times for that certain one. Now, the other thing is when you are generating this link, you have the option to do only the GBP summary, only the keyword analysis, or you can do both. So that's kind of up to, the information that you want your client to have. Cool. Any other questions on this rank tracking part of it?
Now, is there a way from the heat map when you go to keyword analysis that client gets transferred over? Because right now, like it'll default to the last client I had in there. I have to go find it and choose it.
I'm not sure if I understand your question.
So you know how you normally get here is through you run a heat map, and then you go in there and click keyword analysis. And then for me, anyways, it defaults to the last client I had. It doesn't default to what I was looking at from the heat map, regular heat map that we run.
Okay, so it's just defaulting, like you're talking about the company up here?
Yeah, so the way we get here, I do is I'm running a heat map, right? For an old customer, and then I want to see what the maps look like. I'll hit keyword analysis, but instead of going to that customer that I just ran, it'll default to the last one I was looking at in here.
Gotcha. Yeah, so these are like kind of separate things. They're not directly connected. Where if you run a heat map, then it's like, and you go to the keyword analysis, it's going to show you the data for that heat map that you can't just run. Usually like the best practice for how we set this up is we schedule all of our heat maps out so that we have, let's say for a client, we have a heat map schedule running once a week. Then we don't have to like actively run a heat map and then track this on the rank tracking as we're running those heat maps. We could just come back after a month or two and just see that full history and, you know, come down and look at the graph and see how we've done over those past several weeks. So yeah, I know that maybe there's something we could do to make that a little bit easier, but like I said, it's just not directly connected like that.
Or even like Alec said, like run a heat map in here or go from here.
Right. Yeah, that would be interesting. Because I don't know if we probably don't want to give your clients access to be able to run heat maps, because then they'll just start eating up all your credits. So if that's on the report and they're just going through and just like clicking all these buttons to rerun heat maps, I'm not sure if that's something that we're going to want them to be able to do. Maybe we could have it so that it's only on our side, and then on the shared report that's not there. I'm sure that's something we could do. But yeah, that's just kind of why it's not there for now. Okay. Well, so are we all good on the rank tracking? Any other questions on this part of it? Okay, cool. So I was talking to Spencer. I don't think he made it onto this call, but he wanted to, he had some questions about the reporting, and the reporting, as it is kind of like one of our newer features, is another thing that I already wanted to cover. So I just want to go through how to set up these reports. You know, we could talk about why they're important. If you guys aren't using the reporting feature, I think that it is, I think it's like 100% something that you should be doing for your clients. In our agency, before we had this reporting feature, we had clients coming to us all the time, even though we're like trying to make it as apparent as possible how many leads we're sending them. They would just keep coming back to us and be like, you guys aren't sending us any leads. We're not getting any leads. We're not going to pay you. We don't know. And then we would go back and see like, oh, well, we sent you like 50 leads this month. I don't know what you're talking about. So this like would completely eliminate that situation ever happening and just kind of keeps their peace of mind. It's really easy to create these reports. So we're just going to go through and create one together. Over on the left side, we're going to go to reports, create report. Start from a template is what I recommend pretty much 100% of the time. And then you can choose between the calls and the leads. So I also recommend using the leads, because this is going to be that more qualified way of getting this data to your client. And it's going to be more of what they're paying for. If you send them just like a list of all the calls and you still have like 100 spam calls in there, they might get a little weird about that. But what we covered earlier with Johnny, where you can set up that automation that's automatically qualifying these calls as leads, then you can partner that with this report and just automate everything. So you have your calls already being added as leads, and now you have those leads being added to a report and sent to your client. You don't have to do anything for it. You don't have you don't have to use spreadsheets or get on a call with them and go over each lead you sent them. So we're going to continue here. We've got leads selected. You can select multiple companies. You know, in some cases we have 3 or 4 websites that are going to one client. If that's the case, go ahead and select all of those websites. If it's just one, then, you know, you can just select that one. And then we can also select what type of leads. So we can have form submissions and phone calls. We'll click next, and then we can select, now we can edit and build out what we want this report to look like. This is fully customizable. It is going to be default to like LeadSnap themed, but don't let that scare you. If you just click edit, go ahead and upload your own company logo. Cover photos, we have tons of different options that you can choose from, and then you can go ahead and change the colors as well. So make this tailored towards your agency. And then we can come down and see that, you know, see all this information. So we had 19 leads come through, 91 calls, 19 were qualified calls, 2.3 leads per day. So I think this is only for the last 7 days. Yes, we can change this to last 30 days. That's typically what we do, is we do last 30 days and then we send it to them every month. Now we can go ahead and save this. It'll pull in that new data. They'll get access to some other things like leads per day, where did those leads come from? And then they'll also be able to listen to all of the call links at the bottom of the report. They'll be able to hear all of the recordings. Like there's no way that they'll be able to question and tell you, this lead wasn't real. It's right here. Listen to the recording. This was a real lead. Also, if this was my client and they're missing 42% of the calls, I'm going to have a conversation with them. I hate it. I hate seeing when I'm sending them a ton of calls and they're not answering the phone. I know that's a big problem that everyone's had. So just make it apparent, show them like you missed almost half your calls. What's the deal? And you're telling me you're not getting enough leads. So that's, that's in my opinion, that's why this reporting is so powerful. But after you actually create the report, then you have to go through and schedule it. So that's kind of set up separately. We do have to save this, and then we can have this run. Let's see, we want it to be, if we have it set to 30 days, we're going to run it once a month. You can also pick it to, maybe you want it to be on the 1st of every month. You can set that. And then this is who it's going to go out to. The other really cool thing is this require review. Maybe you're not comfortable because your lead flow is so up and down with sending this report to your client every month automatically. And you kind of want to get a chance to go through it yourself. And you can require it for review, choose yourself as the user, and it's going to give you a notification up at the top and say, hey, this report's ready. Go ahead and look through it, and it'll give you a little button to click approve. And then after you click approve, then it's going to shoot to your client. You can also get it. It's also going to notify you via email. It's not going to be just in the system. But yeah, any questions on the reporting part? I'm kind of curious on how many of you guys are using this. So if anyone, feel free to speak up. Like Alec, Greg, Janeri, Alfredo, are you guys using this? I'm getting. You are using it? Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm using.
Cool. Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe there's a lot of users in here that aren't taking full advantage of this. So I just kind of want to highlight how you can do it, how simple it is, and hopefully get more of you guys on, start using this.
Yeah, for those of you who are using it, like what's the kind of value that you're getting out of it?
I'll speak on that. Jeff, so pretty much what Joren is saying, like just covering obviously like, hey, these are how many leads are producing. That way we can prevent the whole thing. Well, we're not getting any leads.
What's the feedback from the clients? Do they respond back and say, oh, thank you so much? Or are they?
No, I mean, they're so busy doing contractor stuff that, I mean, yeah, like I haven't had anything like thank you and like that, because just the nature of the type of client, but they do open it and they do see it. I just don't get any feedback like that about it. But
they might not be diving into this every month that they get it. They're probably not going to like dive into this super deep and go through everything. But, the biggest point of it is that it's there. And if a conversation ever comes up about number of leads sent, it's like, oh, well, we sent you that report and I can see right here, I know it's in your inbox and we sent you the report that says we sent you this many leads and that's why we charged you for this many leads. So it's kind of like a protection for yourself. So yeah, super, super important.
Yeah. And I did, and I don't know if it was fixed or not. But when I went in here and I tried to create the report, it kept on like defaulting to like today instead of the date that I put.
Or what part for the scheduling?
Like, so let's just say not the scheduling, right? Go beforehand. Let's just say you create a new report, right? And then you change the date you want it for last month. You pick last month. Or the last 30 days, I guess that's the one. Yeah, last month. I don't know if it's when I picked that one specifically, but I recall probably like a month ago or so where it kind of kept changing the date on it. Like I would put last month and then change it to today's date, or the data wasn't consistent with the 30 days of the last month. It was just weird. But when it comes across, if it does, I'll just submit a ticket and let you know. But
yeah,
I'm not sure if you saw
let us know, or maybe choose the last 30 days and see if that one, is more successful for you.
Okay, because I want the last month, not the last 30 days. Let's just say.
Okay.
You see what I mean? So
yeah. So you have it set up to go on what, like the 1st of the month, and then it is set up to have all the leads from that last month.
Yeah, and I actually have it come to me before, so I can approve it to make sure that the leads are actual leads. Because One thing I did see actually talking about this, that came up in my head now, when we're going through and marking what's a lead or not, because we don't have it where, hey, if it's after 90 seconds or whatever, 60 seconds, call it as a lead. I did see it that I guess it marks some of them unanswered still as a lead. Maybe something how we have it set up. I don't know if that's the default or not. Do you know what I mean?
I think
I'll
I
have to go-
do. So you're talking about in the calls, you're adding them as a lead, and sometimes you see unanswered calls marked as a lead.
Yes.
So I believe, now this is the first thing that comes to mind. I could be wrong on this, but when you add a call as a lead, it doesn't just add that one call as a lead. It also adds all of the same calls from that same phone number as a lead as well. So like anytime that that person is called, they're going to be kind of like condensed and then moved over into one lead. So if it's, you know, if it has happened where they called your client and they didn't answer, then they called back later and they did answer, and then you mark that one as a lead, then that previous time that they called and the client didn't answer is going to get also added as a lead, but into
Got
the same lead. It's not a separate lead. It's still one lead, but all of those calls are kind of like together.
Yeah, because it's the same phone number. But what if that's not the case? If it's just because, and I'm thinking here's the thing, Joren, we have it set up the automation that if they don't pick up the phone, it sends the customer or the lead, hey, we're busy right now. We'll get, and then we also have something that sends a text message to our client so they know they missed a call and here's information to call them back. I wonder if that's what's tagging it automatically as a lead. Because it's not the case where you said where they call back again. That's not the case. It's like a unique first time. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I would have to look into it. I don't think it could be the automation unless you have a step in there that specifically says add as a lead.
Okay.
But yeah, honestly, like, I wouldn't be able to figure it out unless I was looking at it, unfortunately. So
Okay.
if you, yeah, more than happy to get on a call with you and we can dive into that one-on-one.
Okay. I'm gonna
Yeah.
write this down so I don't forget. Okay. Thank you, Joren.
Yeah, sounds good.
Hey, there's a couple of message or questions from Facebook that I dropped in the chat.
Oh, okay. How are you registering your call tracking phone number to comply with the mobile carrier to send text knowing we're forwarding? Okay. So that's going to be on the A2P. We'll just go over that first. So the A2P is kind of something that like all phone tracking companies are kind of like racing to get that done, since it's like a brand new registration that is now being heavily enforced. So it's kind of like a process that is taking a while, like I said, since everyone's registering. We are working on that. We do have registrations already in progress, and once we get that solved, then we'll be able to register all of our users for that 10 DLC A2P registration, and that's going to increase that deliverability. So just keep your eye out for updates. We're actually going to be putting an alert. So there's going to be something that pops up inside of LeadSnap that is going to give you the place where to submit that registration. And that's going to be coming out pretty soon. So just keep your eye out for that, and then you'll be able to enter in your information. We'll get you registered for that. Ben Miller, so if you're selling SEO services, not rank and rent, do you change their GMB phone number as well to track leads? Or are you running this only through their website? To track the other reports. So as far as like changing the phone number, adding a tracking number to SEO clients, that's not something that I would recommend. And I don't think that's what most people do. I don't think that's like best practice. It's possible that, you know, you try to change the phone number on one of your clients' GMBs that's been around for a long time, and you could get it suspended. So I don't think a lot of people are tracking the leads for clients on SEO deals. It's mostly just the rankings. For SEO specifically is where that rank tracking for their GMB is going to be so powerful, because you want to prove results, and proving results through calls and leads is great, but you can also prove results through the rank tracking that utilizes the heat map. So what I would do is I would send them that link, that shareable report for the rank tracking, start doing your SEO, and then you can very visibly prove that you are doing the work that they're paying you for. And they're going to see their leads go up on their end anyways. So, you know, they're going to be happy as long as, you know, you're yielding those results for them. But yeah, as far as trying to change the number on their GMB is just not something that I really recommend in fear of getting it suspended. Well, anything else, Jeff, from the Facebook group?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Cool. I think we're pretty much done unless anyone else has any questions or final thoughts on this call. I'll give you guys a second to chime up. But yeah, I think we've covered most of I wrote down some topics that I wanted to make sure get covered on this call, even if no one asked, and we ended up covering all of them. So yeah, I hope you guys were able to get some value of this and learn different parts of the system. 4 different things, you know, like Janeri, that issue we talked about, you know, let's feel free to get on a call together so we can talk about that more. Or if anyone on this call still has confusion on different parts of these systems, just reach out to me and we'll schedule a call and we'll be able to get more in depth on this because yeah, I'm more than happy to teach you guys how to get up and running on this.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Alec. Thank you, everyone. Jeff, I think we're all good. Got any closing
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yep. Look forward to seeing Alec and Brian tomorrow at the Internet Marketing Party here in Austin, potentially Greg. Yeah, man, it's great to get out and network and, you know, hang out with some of you guys and learn new things. I think the speaker's amazing. So if for you other people on the call who aren't Austin local, look out for events in your area and see if there's different things or places where you can show up. And I think Riz is going to show up as well. So we've got like a little thing going there in Austin, and it's always awesome to connect with other people in the industry in any location. So yeah, check those things out. You never know. There's some amazing event available, right?
Yeah, can I ask a question really quick?
Yeah,
sure.
Hey, Joren. You know, there's some of us, we're in lead gen, and I was hoping, when is the feature of, you know, like we could see all the calls, right? And at the end, it'll like make a total. This is how many calls you had. This is the lead value or call value. And then there's a little pay button that'll say, you know, pay. And I was also hoping that maybe the customer can go through the list and play like the recordings and be like, oh, I don't want to pay for that one. And they just hit the X. And then the bottom, the calculation will adjust to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be super cool. Or maybe it's not just an X. Maybe they have the ability to just dispute it, and you have the final say if you agree if that's not a lead, right? Because you don't want them to go through and just mark the X on all of them, and then just get away with not paying for the leads. But yeah, no, we've talked about that a lot. We don't have an ETA for it because that's going to be a huge update. But it is 100% on our roadmap. It's in our minds. We want to be able to give you guys the ability to input a certain lead value for like a company. So let's say it was a towing company and you put a lead value of, I'm not really sure what it would be, if it was like $10. And then as you mark those as leads, it will calculate like how much those leads were worth and stuff like that. Definitely something that would be really cool to see in the system. But like I said, that's going to be a really big update and something that's kind of on our longer term roadmap.
Interesting, because I thought like in the reporting feature, I don't know, to me, I thought it would just be a quick add-on to that one, you know, because you already have the reports there.
Yeah, but the issue is we don't have like an integrated payment system. So we would have to figure out how to set up the billing for that. Maybe some of that structure is there.
I was actually hoping that I could put a link to my Stripe, you know, whatever.
In the report?
Yeah, like when, like, let's say at the very bottom, it says pay this now, and they hit pay now, it'll go to my Stripe account and then they pay that.
Right, but we still have to have some kind of integration where the numbers in the report are connected to your Stripe account so that when they do click pay now, it has that correct value already pre-calculated in there. Yes. So for now, like the way we do it, most of our clients are on flat fee, but if we ever were, if we did have some that were on like a percentage deal, then, you know, we can utilize the reports to get our number of leads, come up with how much that's going to cost and send them the bill for it.
Cool.
Thank you, Riz. Anyone else have any questions?
I have a question, last question, I guess. Well, is this on the roadmap where eventually maybe we can kind of duplicate easily a whole like CRM setup for a specific niche? If we want to do that?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, we've actually talked about that too. Yeah, like you get a whole client and company set up and report set up and automations, right? It's like a snapshot of everything that you did,
Yes.
and then being able to copy that over into the next client. Yeah, totally something that we understand would add a lot of value to people and something that we're willing to do.
Okay, perfect. Is it, I'm sure you probably don't know exact, but is it something like this year, next year, possibly?
I'm sorry, I don't even have a timeline for that. I'm not sure. I'm not clear on that.
Okay, no worries. Thank you so much, Joren.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, y'all. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming, sticking around, and I hope that at least for some of you guys, we're able to get value out of this. And like I said, if you still have any questions on how to use certain parts, just feel free to reach out to me directly.
And by the way, there is an affiliate link in your account that you can use. So if you want to spread the word about LeadSnap and get some credit for it, just look in the upper right-hand corner under your account and you can find your unique referral link. We appreciate it.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.